I always get such sweaty pits before I hop on here. I've done them so many times, and every single time I'm like so excited, and then I click start, and my pits are just like waterfalls. It's insane. So I'm glad you guys are here. If you don't know me, my name's Mandy, but I see lots of familiar faces here, and I'm really excited because I have had this in my mind to do it for a while. And to keep a long story really short, I'm in the middle of moving halfway across the country. And so I texted Casey and Katie the other day and I was like, can you do Thursday? Because I feel like it's so important that we talk about this before convention next week. And it just ended up working out perfectly. So all of that to say, this entire training tonight, it's really not a training. If you're a notes person, you might not leave with a lot of notes. It's really more so a heart training. And that sounds so corny, but I just think it's something that everybody could really use as far as a pep talk goes. And I'm speaking to myself in a lot of this too, because honestly, if y'all have been in this industry for more than like half a second, you know it's a literal roller coaster. There's ups, there's downs, there's ups, there's downs. And I think sometimes we can forget these things that I'm going to talk about tonight, and kind of get sidetracked with what Jake Spencer would call the rank race, right? Brooke Lloyd says that a lot too. So really, I'm just going to jump right into it. This entire industry is about mindset. Okay. We could train you until you're blue in the face on systems and steps and ways to recruit and ways to sell products and get customers. But honestly, if you don't believe that you can do it, if you don't have the grit to fall down 9 times and stand up 10, if you don't have the reason that you're showing up to do this every single day, it's not going to matter. It's not going to work. You have to have all of the prerequisites in your belief for any of the systems and the steps and all of the things that we give you guys to actually take ground and grow a business, right? So often I really feel like people lose sight on why they're really here, and instead they get really distracted, right? So certain things that I see a lot and things that I see in myself sometimes, we get really distracted in hitting a promotion, right? Like that's our whole compensation plan is titles and promotions. We can get really stuck up in our own ego sometimes when we slide back in a rank or a promotional level. I know I'm guilty of this, you guys, right? You hit a big promotion and you're so excited, and then you hit a slow season of the year, and all of a sudden you're like, who am I to even be showing up on social media and talking about this? I'm not even holding my own rank, right? We can get in our heads about it. Trying to get recognized for things, get on stage, hold a trophy, have a big paycheck, right? Have your name be a top producer. These are all things that I think we all do, especially if you've been in network marketing for a while. I'm guilty of all 3 of those things. But I want to be really clear first that there's nothing wrong with any of that, right? I truly believe the people who do the best in network marketing are the ones who are really fueled by those kinds of things, right? We like the competition, we like the recognition, we really do well in those types of situations where we're kind of like pressured for those things. So there's nothing wrong with it. But if you're feeling drained or burnt out, it might be because those things are not going to be what keeps you around here long term. Just being totally honest. If you're only here and working to hit a rank, if you're only showing up each day to hold a big check on stage, if you're only doing it so that you can hold a trophy 2 times a year when we have convention, really, this probably isn't going to be a super long phase in your life, because at a certain point, those things become empty, right? And you can only hold a trophy so many times before it loses its novelty. And yeah, the big paycheck's cool, but like it's not going to have you showing up here every single day. So my kind of motto for this call tonight is that network marketing is a vehicle, not a destination. Okay. And to really fully express this, I'm going to kind of share my story with you guys. So if you don't know me already, you're going to now, because I'm just going to kind of tell you guys a little bit about me. And honestly, this at the end, I think you'll understand why. I'll wrap it all together. But basically, I am 28 years old. When I got into this industry, I was 24. I had just had my 3rd baby. I don't have a college degree. I've been a stay-at-home mom for a long time. I used to teach preschool before I started having kids. But then when I was teaching preschool and I had my first baby, I quickly realized I was going to be working to pay for childcare. So it didn't really make sense because I would have lost money having a job while having kids in childcare, right? Does anybody else feel that pain? Because it is such a thing for so many moms. So I started staying home. And then what I realized was, wow, living on a single income is actually like really hard. Specifically, if you live in a state like where I currently do, which is California, a single income family of 5 in California was like excruciating pain every single day of our life with money. Okay. We were barely making our ends meet. I have one of the hardest working husbands honestly ever. I know everybody says that about their husband, but truly he's lucky he's already taken, because otherwise he'd have people on him like flies on poop. He is just such a hardworking man. But I got so tired of asking him to work overtime. That was our life. It was working overtime and overtime and overtime and overtime. Me being in the grocery store with 3 little kids and like adding up the groceries in my cart because I was so terrified to be embarrassed if my card got declined at the grocery store. So before I would check out, I would pull my cart over to the side with all my kids and I'd add everything up in my cart, and I'd make sure that I was going to have enough on my debit card, or I'd try and like slyly put stuff back without feeling like people saw me putting things back, right? I think so many people identify with those types of stories. And I had a friend at that time who was working at a different company. And I knew she did network marketing, right? Because you kind of know when people do network marketing. And I was really turned off by it. I thought I'd never do this. I said, that is not my thing. I will not approach people and harass my family and friends, right? I had all the false stigmas about network marketing. But we had them over for dinner and she showed me a $5,000 paycheck. And I, at that point, was like, where do I sign up? Right? I really didn't ask many questions. I had already been watching her for a handful of months and I was like kind of interested. But when I saw the paycheck, I was like immediately in my mind, I'm an Enneagram 3 also, by the way, so this might just be my personality type, but I was like calculator in my head with $5,000 a month thinking, oh my God, that would change our life. Like, seriously, it kind of still gives me chills because I just couldn't stop thinking about it. So I signed up to do it. And fast forwarding through a lot of time. But when I signed up, I told my husband, I have really low expectations with this. And I just want to make $500 a month. Because if I make $500 a month, that's one less overtime shift a month that you have to work and you could be home more, right? Or if I make $500 a month, we're not going to have to stress out about paying the SMUD bill during the summer. The utility bill. I don't know if it's SMUD everywhere else, but the utility bill during the summer. Well, I exceeded that, right? I exceeded that at my first company. I exceeded that with this company. I went on to be able to pay my family out of $30,000 of debt. In a single year, I really did that. And then my husband didn't have to work overtime anymore. And I haven't thought about swiping my card at a grocery store for almost 4 years now. And all of these things started happening where over the last 4 years, I can say that as an uncollege educated stay-at-home mom, I have made close to $200,000 working in network marketing. Okay. I'm not Katie Williams, who's going to come share her story tonight, or even Casey Wheeler, who's making all of this crazy money, you guys. But I added up those paychecks from all 4 years and it's close to $200,000. Okay. And I'm not coming on here to brag to you about money at all. What I want to talk about is the fact that all of the things that changed my family's life in this, we're, like I said, we're relocating halfway across the country right now and like kind of not even sweating it because we have no debt. We're about to have no car payments. Like we've made really smart decisions with the money that I've made in this industry. None of that's connected to a rank title. None of it's connected to a title. None of it's connected to me holding a big check on stage. In fact, I haven't done that. I haven't held a big check on stage, right? None of that's connected to trophies or pictures of me on big screens or top producer stuff. Honestly, that stuff's cool. And I'm an Enneagram 3, so don't hear me wrong on this. But like, I don't care about those things, right? Because I originally got into this industry because my family needed me to make money. Honestly, we needed me to make money. My husband was spinning his wheels, stuck in the mud as much as he could, and we still weren't getting out of the situation that we were in. And I felt it on my shoulders to do something to change our situation. So I tell you all of that because I think it's really important, especially heading into next week for those of you going to convention. Who's going to convention? If you are, will you drop an emoji or a check or something in the chat? I'm so excited to see everybody there. But when you go there, I want you to remember why you're actually here. Okay. Why you're here. The point that I'm at in my life, right? Now that network marketing has just been the blessing that it has been for us, we're looking at me even getting into new things like real estate investment, which is never two words a couple of years ago I would have ever thought even came out of my mouth because it didn't feel possible. But now I'm like, I'm going to get into real estate investment, no big deal. Those are things, you guys, I would have never been able to do as a stay-at-home mom or a preschool teacher mom, right? I needed the avenue of this. We needed this vehicle. And now it's going to take us beyond all of this into a whole new category of investing that wasn't even possible before. When you walk into the big room of convention next week, if you're going, or if you end up watching virtually, or you just hear about it afterwards, I want you to not get super caught up in the people standing on stage with big checks, or yourself if you're the big person standing on stage with a check. I want you to think about, where is this vehicle taking you? Why are you actually here? What is it? Because sometimes I think people join and they're like, oh my gosh, I just want to be elite. And so everything they do is focused on being elite, being elite, being elite, being elite. But they don't actually care about being elite. They care about paying their electric bill on time, right? They care about covering that obnoxiously ridiculous high childcare bill. They care about paying off more than just the minimum payments on their credit card, right? Think in those terms. And I think you'll find that you'll get burnt out less often, because when the rank doesn't matter and the recognition doesn't matter and the big flashy check on stage, when it doesn't matter anymore, then you're not in this like race mode all the time of feeling like, oh, I didn't hit it again. Oh my gosh, I fell behind, right? You can really start to be like, I made $250 this month. That paid for a whole week of my groceries. Or, oh my gosh, I made $750. That paid our car payment, right? Honest to God, you guys, I really can tell you, I've been so blessed in this industry. So blessed. But if I would have only ever made $500 a month, I honestly would probably still be doing this. I really think I would, because we would have been in the same situation where $500 a month genuinely would have changed our lives. And it did. That's how I want people to think. That's what I wanted to come out of this training, is that you guys take a pen to paper or take a mental note or write a goal down that's not a rank. Write it down that's not a rank, because listen to me right now. Even in my 1 year in this company, I have like slid back and forth between like 2 ranks at a time. That's me being totally transparent with you guys, right? The reality is, even if you work in this industry for 10 years, most of you are gonna see your ranks and promotions go like this every once in a while. Your rank and promotion do not determine your success here. And even the word success is very different depending on who you talk to, right? Someone like me 4 years ago would have said, even if I never get to be a millionaire, if I could just pay our way out of debt, this would be worth it, right? And I did that, right? So I'm successful. Even if I never hit another rank again and I just sustain where I'm at, I would still feel successful, because what I set out to do to change my family's life, I accomplished it. So what is that for you? What is your goal? What is the thing that's really driving you to stay here, to show up every day and do the things, to keep going when a bunch of people on your team quit? What's that thing for your family? Is it $500 a month? Is it paying off your student loans? Like, set that goal for yourself, because I feel like it's important to have an attachment to something that you're trying to accomplish that's not a rank, that's not a recognition, right? And just let those extra things fuel you, but don't let them be the things that hold you back when you don't hit them. Okay. Because even a little bit of success at a time is still moving forward to the reason that you actually signed up. Nobody signs up to do network marketing to be platinum. Do you want to know why nobody signs up network marketing to be platinum? Because nobody who's not signed up yet has any stinking clue what the heck platinum even means. Nobody's signing up for that, you guys. And when you talk about stuff, even in your business, what's going to attract people to your business is not your rank. Because again, nobody has any stinking idea what ruby or emerald at our company here, I think, is like $60,000 a month. Emerald at my last company was like $6,000 a month, right? It's not even the same at different companies within this industry. So disconnect from the titles and connect to what it's actually doing for your life, and then share about those things. even when they're small. My whole first 2 years in this industry, everything I shared about was tiny things, you guys, paying for things that were less than $500. Those were my big posts financially on social media. And hands down to this day, those are the things that I actually connected with the most people on, because people don't identify with making $15,000 a month. That's not even in the realm of most people's reality. Like, what? That's not real. That's what people think. That's what people think when we talk about Casey making $15,000 a month. They're like, she lying, because that's not real. But if you talk about paying a car payment, paying a grocery bill, people can connect to those things. And that's why people sign up, right? That's why people sign up. If you care to share your personal thing of why you joined this industry, drop it in the chat, because I think it's really cool. If don't share if you don't feel comfortable, but if you feel comfortable, I'd love to see what brought you to this industry. And in the meantime of watching all those come in, I'm going to ask Casey to talk a little bit herself. Casey and I joined this industry for totally different reasons, but she has had a lot of success, obviously, happen in her career in network marketing too. But I think, again, so many times we hear about flashy, super cool platinum ambassador Casey, but I really want you guys to hear the heart of Casey. Like, what has this done for her life that's not a big flashy check on stage? Because that's been one moment in her whole 13, 14 months working here, right? So I'm going to have her unmute and share a little bit about her stuff.
What up? Thank you, Mandy. Yeah, I apologize in advance. I have a throat lozenge in because I'm getting over some weird cold thing. No, my story is very different than Mandy's. We talk about it all the time. We are such opposites, but we're power partners. We love working together. We complement each other really well. But she came here for something completely different than I did. I honestly am just a busybody. I'm a yes woman. I'm an Enneagram 7. And I was about as pregnant as I am now with baby number 2 with my son 4 years ago. And no college education. I loved personal training. I'm extremely passionate about health and fitness and wellness. I'm studying nutritionist, so I also am super fascinated by supplementation, nutrition, that whole thing. And so for me, it was very much so like, what the heck am I about to do? Not working. I literally have never been unemployed since I was 15. So it had been 12 years at that point that I had been in charge of bills, and like I needed to make some money, you know what I'm saying? And so it was one of those things where it was like, okay, well, I'm just going to kind of like give it a shot. Like, why not? Like, that was my mentality. Like, why not? Like, let's go for it. And I just I recruited some people, and this is my previous company. I recruited some people in my first 3 months, which was right before I had my son, Jay. And I got a paycheck the entire first year that I basically set my business down. Like, I deleted all my social media the first year of my son's life. I pretty much was like, this isn't for me, but I kept getting a paycheck. And I mean, sometimes it'd be 700 something, sometimes it'd be 200 something. It really just depended on the month. But I was sitting there and I was like, this is crazy. And it just kind of clicked. I forced myself to go to an event. So shameless plug, if you are not going to Ignite, you need to reevaluate your priorities. Unless, of course, it's for like legitimate medical or some reason like that. However, I forced myself to go to an event because it was in Orlando, Florida, and I had never been there before. And I love to travel. And I was like, okay, mom-in-law, do you want to come with me and my tiny baby? And my friend Shelby came with us too, and her mom. And we just kind of made it. We were like, we're going to make it a girls' trip. I went to the event and I was like, there's something about this industry. There's something here for me. I talk about it all the time. When I got my first paycheck in network marketing ever, a light bulb clicked. I awoke this whole piece of me that I had no idea existed. I never ever thought of myself as an entrepreneur or somebody who wanted to be in charge of her own schedule, her own money. Like, I mean, all of that. But of course, having your first baby, I had postpartum and everything. That's why I set it down. But I came back with a ferocity and I was like, let's do the dang thing. That's about the time Mandy and I partnered up together, not even benefiting each other's businesses at the time. And we just worked together. We got our kids together, let them play at a park, and went for it. For me, I work a lot on my mindset, my belief. You guys know I train on that a lot if you've ever been on my trainings, because I've been going to therapy, y'all. I'm messed up. Okay. I've been going to therapy for like over a decade. But I know how very important it is. I mean, the Bible talks about it through and through. You've got to guard your heart. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose this third lozenge. I'm about to start preaching. It's gonna get crazy. But you got to guard your heart. You got to be mindful of what you feed yourself, like your brain. You have to be mindful of this stuff. So that's something I brought into this industry, and something that isn't a massive struggle for me, honestly, because it's something I work on in my daily life on a daily basis, right? And so I came in and I was like, you know what? My family, like a good portion of my family, looks at me like I'm just another one of those girls who joined network marketing and got suckered into it by some family friends. And I'm just believing that if that person up on stage can get that, why not me? Why not? I might as well go for it. You guys, and I still struggled with, okay, am I worthy? Am I deserving? Am I, blah, blah. And I was terrified of success. But at the end of the day, I was like, I'm just going to go for it. God is the one that makes things happen, but I'll be danged if I'm not the one showing up, putting the work in. And so I just worked and worked and worked. Obviously, it's history at this point. Heard about Q, came over here. Timing was a massive factor, that I just brought my same work ethic I had, my mindset and belief that I had. And honestly, at that point, I would have been totally pumped with $4,000 a month. A lot of you have heard the story when I looked at my husband before I switched over here. I said, how much money do I need to make to keep you out of law enforcement? We had just moved across the country. He had left law enforcement behind, but it was the only thing on his resume for the last almost decade. And so he was looking at that. And I just didn't want that anymore. That was kind of like the point. We were starting fresh. How much money do I need to make? And he said, I don't know, $4,000. And I said, hold my beer. Let's go. Let's do the dang thing. And again, 10 a.m. It was actually coffee, but it always sounds better. Anyways, so I went for it. I had no flipping clue what was in store for me here. I'm so thankful. I partnered with some incredible, powerful people. As far as I'm powerful by that, I just mean people who have work ethic. They had the desire, they had the vision, and they were willing to work on their mindset with me. We were willing to link arms. And honestly, Mandy and I have stumbled and fallen and failed over and over and over again. We've had so many Zooms with our team leaders and been like, well, we messed up, or well, we didn't know that. And so now we're going to improve and we're going to move forward. And if you guys are willing, hey, we're so sorry. We just didn't know, but now we know better. Let's move forward. I can't even tell you how many Zooms we've had like that. And so it's been just this crazy, crazy experience, but obviously reaching the level of platinum, it's so cool. I'm not an Enneagram 3. I don't live for recognition. Don't get it twisted. I think it's cool. But at the same time, I don't live or die for that. Very much so. For me, the fact that my husband has been just straight retired for over a year, that's unbelievable. Because if you guys know anything about law enforcement, overtime, Mandy's been talking about it. They need cool down time. They need decompression time when they get home. So basically emotionally unavailable for just a period of time. And that's okay. That's normal and healthy. A lot of boundaries, things like that. But the fact that my husband's been able to literally just him and my son be best friends for over a year, that's crazy. That's honestly, to me, I'm the end, mic drop. That's I have the chills right now, thinking about it. That is so special to me. My husband only got 1 week off for when we had Jay, and now homeboy ain't got a job. He gets to be here with me and help me with the newborn stage of our second son. And it's just the most incredible thing. Obviously being able to, we had some family things come up this year where we had to travel back across the country a few times and help with Granny, who is on hospice, and then unfortunately go to her memorial service. And to be able to not only go, not have to think about it twice, buying 3 plane tickets because my son's going to be 4 in a couple days, all of that, and not having to stress about that financially. And then on top of that, the family who that was a financial stress for them to travel, be able to take them out to dinner to decompress with us, not have to worry about the bill. That's the crap we're talking about. That's that good. That is, we've never been in that position. And we've always been also the penny pinchers, the grocery people. I still do a monthly budget. Every penny is assigned to something. However, being able to have those times where it's nope, it's okay. I don't even need to look at the bill. Let me get this. That is a massive blessing. That's a massive blessing. If you've never been in that position where you could donate to every GoFundMe, where you could be in a position to pick up the tab wherever you go, where you can send a DoorDash gift card to your friends struggling, whatever the case may be. then you know how incredible that would feel. And that has honestly been like the most massive blessing for us, other than for our own family, having my husband home. And so again, just like Mandy, don't have a college education, none of that stuff. This wouldn't be possible at all. Like it flat out would not have been possible for us in any other industry. So yeah, you bet your bottom dollar I won't shut up about how awesome network marketing is. Ever, 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 ever. It's a wonderful vehicle and a blessing. Am I super passionate about Q? Excuse me. Be honest, no. I mean, I am really passionate about what Q provides. I'm passionate about the compensation plan. I'll talk about it until I'm blue in the face. Passionate about the products because they have changed my life and my family's and my friends and all of you guys's. But do I want to like die working Q? I'm going to be very honest with you guys. No, I don't. I want to open my own gym. I want to be a personal trainer again. I want to work as a nutritionist. I want to do all that stuff. Guess what the vehicle is that's going to get me there? Q, network marketing. That's dope. Otherwise, I would have gone on eyeball depth of debt. That's just how it is. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to quit anytime soon. Let me just clear the air there. Literally, you're not going to see me going anywhere for a long time, but I'm letting you know that this is for sure a vehicle that totally caught me off guard, came out of left field. And I'm super thankful for it.
Yeah. My mother-in-law always says it's the little things. That's like her like life quote is it's the little things. And I really feel like that kind of sums up what this industry does for a lot of people. Like even if you're not someone who comes into this industry and ever makes the amount of $15,000 plus a month, even if you just lingered at 750 at elite or bronze, right? Even if you just stayed there, it's the little things. How many little things could you do for $1,700 a month? That's like most people's mortgage across the nation if you were to average it out. You know what I mean? That's a house payment. That's incredible. So thank you so much, Casey, for sharing. And honestly, you guys, like ask people this kind of stuff on your team. If you have someone on your team who you're like, man, I just kind of feel like they're a little fizzled out, or maybe they're like not there as much. Maybe it's because they're just not really here for it when you're talking about like being passionate about Q sciences and ranks and checks and promotions. Like maybe they have a legitimate need and that's what's gonna drive them. Talk to your people about that. Like one of the biggest things I like to ask, especially when people come in and they're talking like, I need more money, or it's very clear that money's the thing. I ask, how much do you need? Like, how much do you need? Not want, not what would you dream of having, not what promotion do you want to hit in 5 years? Like, what amount of money do you need? Right? Because a lot of times that's what's going to drive people. People who are the most desperate are also the people who are the most determined and unwilling to fail. Okay. Anyways, thank you, Casey. Katie Williams is here tonight, guys. I'm so excited for her to share too. Honestly, this is one of the things that I think is so cool about Q. I don't even know what she is, but I think it's like top 15. I might be saying that wrong, but she's so high up in the company, guys. It's crazy. On councils, the whole 9 yards. Also, one of just the most down-to-earth women I've ever met in this industry. Katie, I was one of the people that I met when I very first signed up last December, popped on a retreat in Austin, Texas with us, and we've been friends ever since. And I just always feel so blessed to say, like, I work with Katie Williams and then explain how much she makes each month. And people are like, no, not really. I'm like, yes. And she's actually also a dope human. So she agreed to come on tonight and share with you guys. I know she's really passionate about this too. So go ahead and unmute Katie.
Oh my God, you guys are so sweet. Can you hear me okay? My AirPods have been messing up. Okay. All right. So first of all, how cool is it that all three of us were or are law enforcement officer wives? Like, I think that's so cool. And we didn't plan this. Like, we didn't know each other beforehand. Like Mandy said, we met so randomly. I'll tell you a little bit about my story. Most of you know it anyway, so I won't concentrate on that. But Brittany, I enrolled with Brittany Hitch, and she literally called me up about 6 days after I enrolled saying, hey, so, you know, we're paid on infinite levels and I get to help build with you. And anyway, I'm placing these two awesome ladies with you, and they're doing a retreat that they had planned prior, but are turning it into a Q retreat. Do you want to go? And I'm like, slow your roll. I don't even know you people. But this is just a prime example of like stepping out of your comfort zone and trying new things for your personal growth and your mindset. And so I quite literally told my husband, I was like, this is what's happening. He's like, you should go. I was like, this is what's happening. He's like, you should go. And he's working full time, night shifts. I was like, okay, well, let me call my mom and see if we can figure this out. We did. I went, and it was honestly the best time ever. And Casey and Mandy, among the other people there, like Marissa, they've just become such great friends. And that's just the bonus and cherry on top of this whole industry. I think Casey and Mandy brought up so many great points. And before I like go into more depth of my story, I really want you guys to tell me in the chat, like how many of you have genuinely like compared yourself or your business or even your life to someone else? Just type yes or no. Like, I mean, I'm there too. It's everywhere. And so I just want you to guys to like really look in the chat and see like you're not alone. And I can tell you, like, I do it too. Nobody's immune to that. It's just how we are in like as humans, right? And so for me, like everybody, like, you know, Casey said like she doesn't really thrive with recognition because she's so not like a 3 like I am. And I think Mandy, she's like that fun go-getter and she loves this business because she's with people all the time. But like for me, it's just like ingrained in me to succeed. And unfortunately, that can be a downfall. And so I totally let that get the best of me 100%. In fact, this year specifically with that fast growth, I had to really dive deep into a lot of mindset for myself. But first, I did not just wake up one day and become like this amazing businesswoman network marketer. I also was in grocery stores getting my card declined. I also had a husband that was never home working nights, and I was left to not only figure out the household, but also rack my brain around how I could possibly bring in more money for my family. I opened up a photography business locally. It did great. It still is doing great. I've had to like put on the back burner, but I went out there to figure out what I could do. And I didn't know how to do any of that. Like, y'all that are on here that might be newer, you're like, I could never be Casey. I could never be Mandy. That's not true. First of all, you don't want to be anybody else. Let's rephrase that. But like, you can do big things. Just because you've never done it doesn't mean you can't. I did not wake up with 70,000 followers on Instagram. Please just understand that I didn't. I worked really hard. I did a lot of research. Guys, God, when Instagram first came out, I did so much research on hashtags. I did the work, right? We all have leaders, business leaders, Instagrammers that we look up to, right? But it's not easy to get there. It always takes work and a lot of mindset shifting. Or worse, we're like super emotionally attached to failures in our past, right? So like I could get all sappy with you guys, but a lot of the work that I'm doing for myself and like healing has to do with the way that I was raised. And I like never was good enough. See, here I am, about to cry. We all go through those stages, and especially in this industry, more so in this industry. And all of those like old wounds will like open back up, and you're like, I'm not good enough for this. I'm not elite. I'm not bronze yet. Oh my God, she hit bronze in 4 weeks. I definitely can never do it now. But like, I know it sounds so cliche, but like ask yourself if it took you 6 months to make $1,700 a month and be the top 1% of this industry, quite literally, would you still wait 6 months or stop when you're comparing yourself after 4 weeks, right? There are no failures. You either win or you learn. And I'm constantly learning. I mean, who else wants to constantly learn? I never stop learning. I just ordered a new book on Amazon about emotional people. Like, I'm so emotional. It's actually a thing. Anyway, I digress, but don't get caught up in the rank race or comparing to people that are not in your chapter of your life. I am not in Casey's chapter. She's not in mine. Mandy's not in mine. I'm not in hers. We're definitely running alongside each other, and it's a beautiful thing. But like, we all are going through our own things, right? I already have a second kid. Casey's getting ready to birth one. So like, we're all going through different stuff. You cannot compare yourself, all right? I think there's like an overwhelming amount of us that are just, even myself, paying way too much attention to technology and analytics and algorithms instead of like nurturing our intuition to grow more for ourselves, because that really is all that this business is about. I mean, a little bit about my story. I was also in grocery stores, worried, and I simply just stepped outside that comfort zone and tried everything I could. I honestly didn't want to touch network marketing. I, like most of us, had that stigma in my head about what are people going to say, and that's another thing. Like, we have to get to the point where we just know that this is for us, this is for our lives, this is for how many other people we can help impact and change and grow with. This is not about the people from high school or even your cousin twice removed that is making fun of you at the dinner table because she's sharing about college again. Okay, it's not about that. We have to understand that in order to grow in business and be a better person, you've got to be open to getting uncomfortable with yourself. Okay. So you guys know I make a lot of money. I still can't even say that out loud. But like Mandy said earlier, I was listening. I was praying with my kids, putting them to bed, but I was listening. Like Mandy said, she said something like, if I was only making $500, she probably still would be here. And if I was only making $500, I would totally still be here. Yeah, my husband would probably still be working. He retired, by the way, which is a huge win. And it's all thanks to everything that happened this year for sure. But like, I attest a lot of that to also the growth that I've had in this business and life. But I would still be here. I would still be doing, and I may not have found Q at the moment. I don't know. I don't know what that journey would have looked like, but I still would have been in this industry. Okay. And I may have been with the wrong company still, but I still would have been trucking along because that $500 or $600 or whatever was paying my grocery bill or our car payment or what have you. I've always been the type of person where, I think it was Casey that said something, but like, I literally will just do anything it takes, like anything, aside from selling my soul, like God love Jesus, but I will do anything it takes to make sure that my family is supported and the people that I bring along in this journey are seeing results as well, which is obviously why I came here. So I want to share with you something really quick as we wrap this up before I pass it back. But one of the big things that has helped me tremendously in the past 6 months, even a few months, is journaling. And I know it sounds really crazy. Actually, the word makes me get emotional because I have like books now of just my thoughts. And it was actually Jake that, well, first of all, let me back up. I want you guys to understand and really appreciate the level and quality of people that we have here in Q, not just with leaders like Casey and Mandy and, Brandon and Marielle and all these amazing people, but like literally with corporate leaders. It brings me to tears. The fact that this time last year, I was nervous if I made the wrong decision because I had been burnt so much in this industry by people. I just look back at that, and I even look at my words from this past summer, and I just can't believe like this is what we have. Like, I can't believe it. It makes me so happy knowing that we are so supported, both like mentally, but also emotionally, and they just go above and beyond. So anyway, I hope that one day you get to know Jake on the level that I have. And I don't mean to throw his name around because I know you hear it all the time, but him and Sarah have really been like a light in my life, because when you do have fast growth in a new place, it can be very overwhelming, and it can get to your head, and it can just overpower your thoughts and emotions, even in your home. And so one of the things that he really just kept telling me and other people, but to journal. And I started journaling, and it absolutely transformed my business, my leadership, and my life, because I was in this new mindset of the ability to look back at how far I've grown, even if it was 5 days ago. And I'm able to witness helpful thoughts and emotions or patterns that I can replicate and do again in my business and life, instead of those negative ones of, avoiding things or putting blame on me or other people, criticism, judgment, right? So by being able to witness the good that I've done, I then am in a mindset of where I have come from. And when I get to the point where I'm like, dang, I haven't ranked up in a hot second, Well, first of all, I'm to the point where that literally does not matter anymore. And that takes a lot for a 3 to say. But I can look back and see how far I've come, like with anything, with people, with the lives that we're impacting. It's just such a crazy cool thing, you guys. And above all else, it's allowed me to easily identify aligned actions to take for what my business needs, and not the frill and fluff and all the filters of the stage and social media and the checks and all that stuff, you know? One thing that was said to me a couple months ago is surviving is not thriving. And ooh, rhyming words, so cute, right? No, but listen, like surviving is not thriving. You cannot constantly get burnt out and string people along in this industry and like just deal with it, because you are not going to survive in this industry. You have to be able to thrive within yourself. I know it sounds so corny, but like thrive with like where you are at this moment and appreciate that. Journaling is it allows you to see your brain's history little by little and allows you to believe it's safe, like safe for us to adopt new ways about thinking, about building our businesses, wealth, financial freedom, like whatever it is your goal is here. And it's not about getting to elite. It's simply about, like, I think Mandy is the one that said, but like paying a car bill or paying your mortgage. And so when you're able to, and it's a lot of work, you guys, this is not something like Mandy said in the beginning, like you're probably not taking a lot of notes because it really is just like a mind F, you know, it is, you've got to like adapt and adopt all of these ideas, but where you are now is simply truly like a reflection of your past thoughts or your past thinking. So if you want to change and if you want to grow, if you want to, you know, earn $1,000 a month or whatever, you have to change your thoughts now and put them into action. There is simply no other way. So, whew,
Thank you. That was so great. You need to write a book next. Add that to your
Thank you. Thank you for having me, you guys. This is just so special, and hit me up anytime. Truly.
I do. Like me sending your voice memos. Will you do this training?
No, it was so good. It was so good. And half of these notes are what I didn't even use in Nashville because I just go off on these tangents and stuff because I'm just like so passionate about it. So y'all can do this. Just know that you can. Please know that.
Truly. Okay, so I want to close out because I like these to go for 30 minutes and it went over, but I feel like it was so good and worth it, you guys. But I just, in my mind, had two things I wanted to share with you guys. So firstly is that have a person who is going to ground your feet when you can kind of get taken away in the hoopla of network marketing. And I'm going to be real transparent and give you an example of this. I dropped my rank a couple months ago and I was like devastated. Like, oh my gosh, I suck. I'm such a failure. Like I didn't re-rank, blah, 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 blah. I was getting in my head so much about it. And my husband looked at me and he's like, but didn't you still make whatever amount of money? And I was like, well, yeah, but like I didn't re-rank. And he's like, why does that even really matter? Didn't you still make this amount of money? And I was like, oh my gosh, you're so right. Like, why am I getting so hooked up over this, you guys? Okay. So have someone in your life like that that's going to ground you and give you like a reality check when you're getting swooped up in the whole MLM mindset. Second thing, this was said a long time ago when it was referencing Brittany Hitch. It was saying stories like Brittany Hitch are going to bring people into network marketing. Okay. Stories like Casey, stories like Katie, stories like Brittany Williams, Brittany Williams, I'm combining names, whatever. You know what I'm saying, you guys, the people with the checks on stage. Okay. Those are going to bring people in and they're great stories. And you holding a trophy on stage, that's an accomplishment. Be proud of it. Post a picture on Instagram, right? Like get people's eyes on it. But the stories of people paying their mortgage, the stories of people making an extra $500 payment on their car, the stories of people being able to get off food stamps or be able to check out without stress and like sweaty, like armpit tacos. Those are the stories that are going to make people stay. Okay. Because not everybody, like we know the percentages, right? Of the people who become the Brittany Hitches of network marketing, it's small, but the percentage of people who can have this make a really big impact in their life is actually really large when you're talking about people's impacts being the little things like my mother-in-law says. And then lastly, this is my big takeaway tip. This is something that I've done for a long time in network marketing is I write down 2 goals. Okay. When I'm talking about goals each month for myself, especially when I'm in a push month, but honestly, just in this industry in general, I have 2 goals. And this is what I reference them as my non-negotiable. Okay. What's my non-negotiable? This is the thing, like I need to make it happen, right? So when new people come into my business and I say, how much money do you need to make? That's their non-negotiable goal. That's why they came here. That's the, if they don't hit this goal, they're probably going to quit. Right? Non-negotiable goal. And then what's their push goal, right? When we're sitting there with people, especially on launch calls, and we're like, if you work this many hours and if you have this and all this stuff, we can hit silver, right? And they're like brand new. That is the push goal. That's the dream goal. That's the like, I'm going to work really hard to make this happen. But if I never get there and I've still met my non-negotiable, I'm going to feel good in my soul, right? That is something that I would totally put into practice, especially if you're feeling like heading into convention, like you need convention this time around, right? For your mind and your mindset. Try and put that into practice. What is your actual non-negotiable goal? Because it's probably not $8,000 a month, you guys. Everybody on this call would be impacted with less than $8,000 a month. I know that without even asking you. So what's your non-negotiable and what's your push? And with that, I'm going to say thank you so much to Katie and Casey for coming on tonight. Thank you guys. I recorded it. I will upload it and drop it in some chats. And I hope you guys have a really great night. And I'm so excited to see you in Salt Lake City. Bye.